Hey everybody. Right now we are looking at my Angelfish tank, and I've been sitting here this evening. Just did a water change and some maintenance on my gourami tank, and my gourami tank is one that I spend a lot of time looking at. My 125 I spend a lot of time looking at, and I actually do spend quite a bit of time looking at this tank as well, but I don't often shoot a lot of video of it, and I've just been sitting here sort of scratching my head wondering why I don't shoot a lot of video of it. In particular, I've got some really cool fish in this tank that I never really seem to focus on. One reason is they're a little difficult to film. As I get closer, they tend to dart away. And one of them is this rainbow shark you can see drifting towards the back as I approach. The other one you can see making brief appearances here and there is my Crenicichla Compressiceps, or dwarf green Pike Cichlid. He's moving his way across the back. He'll probably come through these rocks here in a minute somewhere. But they are both really cool fish, and I don't spend much time shooting video of them or talking about them. Even these Serpae Tetras are really pretty fish, and I've actually had several people within the last couple of days talk to me about them. There's another one of the fish in this tank that is really cool that I seldom talk about, and that is my Synodontis Petricola, or so I'm calling it. It is still a possibility, and some people even think it's a likelihood, that that is actually a Synodontis lusipinus. They are often confused, and it's really technical getting into what the actual differences between one and the other is. So I'm still not positive whether that is the lusipinus or the petricola. I bought it as a petricola, so that's what I call it. So until it's been in my tank for maybe 10 years and we can find out whether it gets big or not, we will know. Because if it is a lusipinus, it should get, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the lusipinus get around 5 to 6 inches, and if it is truly a petricola, it will stay not much bigger. It won't get much bigger than it actually is now, but it takes a very long time for it to do that. There are some ways I could find out by counting specific scales and looking at specific features, but I almost need a magnifying glass to do that. So I've never worried about it. As far as I'm concerned, it's just academic, because I have no intentions of breeding them. I had 8 of them in here at one point, but a mistake I made early on using RO water killed 7 of the 8, so I'm down to 1. So again, it's nothing I need to find out about. I'm not going to breed them. If I was breeding them, I'd want to know exactly what it was so that I could identify them properly. I don't believe in muddying the waters when you start breeding. So for me, like I said, it's all just academic, whether it's the lusipinus or the petricola. But at any rate, obviously there's nothing real specific on my mind. I just want to kind of have a look at this tank and some of the fish that are in here, and maybe this will inspire me to actually spend a little more time talking about some of these fish. For those of you who are wondering, I would not recommend putting the Serpae Tetras in with angelfish or gouramis, slow moving long finned fish. They're not terrible, but they're nippers. They're not in there like barbs. They're not going to be really aggressive with going after the angelfish, but they do nip on the angelfish quite a bit, and the angelfish spend a fair amount of their day sort of fending the smaller fish off, because they will nip their fins. This guy, for example, used to have 2 really beautiful filaments, one off his caudal fin. Well, actually, it was both off his caudal fin. He had 2 caudal filaments, and the one on the bottom was maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches long. It was absolutely beautiful, and those are long gone. You just don't see them anymore. And the little trailing edge of his anal fin, I lost the word for a minute there, that's been nipped down too, and it's been sort of blunted and rounded, and that's the fault of these Serpae Tetras. Again, nothing terribly to worry about. The angelfish will do more damage than that to each other, so it's not like I'm too concerned about it, but it's not something I'll do again in the future. When these Serpaes die off, I won't be adding them back into this tank again. I'll get something different and replace them. So I'm going to wrap that up. I will mention one last time, I did at one point have several cherry barbs, and the males all got eaten. Most of them got eaten by my Tenopoma that is in my 125, and I've actually got some old video back there. Maybe I'll see if I can dig up an old card or something, an old video, and attach a card to it of him eating some of my cherry barbs back in the day when he was much smaller, but the cherry barbs were too. So the cherry barbs are really cool fish. If this tank wasn't so fully stocked, I would actually have a lot of cherry barbs in here instead of these Serpae Tetras. So it is what it is. I'm stuck with the Serpaes for now. I've only had them in here for, I don't know, less than a year. So I've probably got quite a few years of having these Serpaes in here in the future. So that is my Petricola that I was talking about, or my Synodontis, whatever it is. So once again, nothing really on my mind, just a good look at this tank because it really does have some cool fish in it. Oops, sorry about that, put my finger in front of the camera. Haven't done that in a long time. So I'm going to take that as my cue to wrap this one up. Say thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you're not already. Obviously, you never really know what you're going to get with me. I do a lot of spur-of-the-moment stuff like this. Something's on my mind, so I pick up my camera and start filming. So thanks again for watching, and hopefully I'll see you real soon on the next one.